On this episode of Buff's Garage, Merry Christmas! But also, time's running out to try to get this little love truck ready to make special deliveries. This is the last chance to get it going in time to get all of those presents I have for you out to the post office so that you can get them before I leave for New Mexico. So let's see what I can figure out. Well, I don't have the beard all white right now because I've run out of the beautiful coloring that I was using throughout the 12 days of Buffmas. So I've got a little competition where I have purchased some from Instacart and I've purchased some from DoorDash, and we're going to see who shows up first. Honestly, I'm going to tell you DoorDash is probably going to win because I made the Instacart order yesterday and they still haven't done it. It was supposed to be here yesterday at 6. And then at 7, and then at 9, and then at 10, and now they pushed it off to today. And my guess is it's never going to show up. So you get Buff. But also, it's 70 degrees outside right now. So, shorts on Christmas Eve in the shop. That's cool. Now, many of you thought that the last video for Christmas Eve was the last video. However, FedEx arrived. This is a caliper rebuild kit. I've never rebuilt calipers before. Pretty sure the master needs rebuilt too, but I don't have a kit for that. So let's just see. Let's try. I mean, what do I have to lose at this point? Get this caliper back off. I also talked to Dalton this morning, and he kind of walked me through how to rebuild these. He made sure I understood the safety issues involved, like flying parts. So we'll get the air compressor fired up and see if we can't blow this apart. One thing Dalton cautioned me on was making sure the bleeders would come out. Now I know that they work because I was able to get them loose yesterday, and I replaced the passenger one. Now we'll get the air compressor going and try not to die. I feel like I need to take this apart more before I start putting air to it. So let me see if I can do that. It looks really complicated. While I'm figuring out how to get this apart, I just realized that DoorDash is about 20 minutes ahead of Instacart, but Instacart has actually started heading that way to the store. I'm sure some of you find this uninteresting, but where I live, I can't get anything delivered. I mean, anything. Pizza, nothing. And just recently, we started getting DoorDash and apparently Instacart, and now Walmart has decided to jump on the bandwagon, so I really never have to leave the shop. It's a race to see who gets here first. This is what I do for fun, apparently, is I make 2 orders with 2 competing dash companies and see who wins. Let's be honest, I probably could have just went there last night and got it and all this would be done. But I didn't get home till like 3 in the morning. Alright, so on these calipers, they've got these little cotter type pins. I'm going to immediately lose those. Let's put those up there. And it looks like some kind of slide, but I'm going to have to figure out how it comes apart. But I assume these little safety cotter things, whatever they are, probably need to come out first. And they are not having it. Not this side anyway. I don't want to damage them because they're not an actual cotter pin. I don't know what they are, but we'll try to salvage them. There we go. Well, there's one side. Let's see if we can do the other. There we go. That one was easier after I did it the first time. Alright, now it looks like I might just be able to separate those. I honestly don't know. But only one way to find out. Where's my hammer? There's two pieces of metal in there sandwiched together. I'm sure this is going to bite me in the butt later, but I really need to see if I can get them out. Sorry I didn't do this sooner, guys, but I didn't have the parts to put it back together. So, you know, it's a can of worms, and I don't really like worms. Here you can see I'm driving that out. It was, well, like this one. And so just going to keep pushing until it comes out. Hey! Okay, I didn't do all that. That's like chrome flaking off, some kind of chrome coating. So maybe we need to hit that with the wire brush and lube the crap out of it. Big rust chunk right there. No wonder it didn't slide. This piece, obviously corroded. That's not going to slide either. Let's see if we can get this one out. Oh, well, it's just going to fall out. Perfect. This one's pretty stuck in there. Update, DoorDash is now 30 minutes ahead of Instacart. Well, 30 minutes and a day, because I actually ordered from Instacart yesterday. And DoorDash is on its way delivering. Instacart says, well, Instacart seems to have lost the driver that I had. They had a driver's name in here. And now they've pushed it back another hour. And there's no driver listed. Okay. I'm not here to socially influence you, but DoorDash is winning. I mean, we'll see who actually shows up and if they have the actual product or not. And with those pieces removed, there we go. Slides right apart. Now, the way Dalton explained it is I have to put air into the hole where the hose goes, and it's going to blow the piston out. And then the rebuild kit I'll put on this thing, and we'll clean it up, put it back together. So let's lose an eye. I definitely got dirt in my eye. Try this again. And that's why you have friends that know what they're doing. It doesn't look horrible. Oh, let's get the other end. No. It's a little sticky, but it's not bad. I'll bet the other one doesn't look this good. Let's get this one cleaned up back together. Then we know what we're doing. We can go work on the other one. That shouldn't have made it seize up. I'm going to also clean and file up the contact points on the caliper, the pad slide, and maybe there's friction there that's causing problems. So far so good. I didn't lose an eye, but I did get dirt in my eye. Now we got our rebuild kit. I actually ordered this off Rock Auto when I couldn't find calipers early on, and I honestly wasn't expecting them until next week, but Christmas miracle, FedEx showed up. And I'm not trying to pick on FedEx, but usually they're late, usually. Nothing against them. They have a very active business, and especially at this time of year. So I'm picking out the inner seal with the pick tool. He just flew out too. Boy, he wasn't kidding. Things are just flying everywhere. I mean, it's hard. It probably still worked a little bit, but it's pretty hard. And whenever you try this new one, it's nice and soft. It still maintains its shape, but more pliable. And now we gotta pick this. It looks like this. I'll pick that out of the groove here, and that'll get the little rubber boot off. And I do believe at least one of you, if not a couple of you, got a set of pick tools from your Buff's Garage order. So thanks for ordering merch, and hope you enjoy the pick tools. And you still have time. Every order before December 25th will get a little something back from me just to say thank you for all your support. And I'm going to try to have all those orders out in the next several days. And then after January 1st, I won't be back in the shop for at least a month. At least a month. We haven't determined the exact time frame, and that's the beauty of going out to New Mexico, is we get back when we get back. Dalton's got to be back by, well, May at the latest. So much crud in here. Somewhere is the end of that ring. There we go. You know, rusty but not bad. This little boot is just stuck. There we go. Alright, we're going to try to clean this up. I also mentioned the master cylinder, and several of you have said, well, why can't I just pull it from another truck? Well, if you remember, the Datsun, while being a Japanese truck, no longer has Japanese brake components. It has Mustang 2. And could I try to make it work? Maybe, but unfortunately, nothing bolts up. So to make that work, I'd have to tear everything out and start over, which I really don't have time for right now. But then I do have the right components coming, and then I'd have to put it all back. And I'd rather not triple my workload. I don't mind like doing the brake lines because I can just swap them back in, but if I were to put a completely different style master in there and reconfigure everything, it would make all my purchases useless. The master works. 2 out of 3 pumps does something. So there's definitely an issue, but I'm sure we can figure it out. Let's get this going. If we can make these work, then the master is, well, I've never done one of those either, so I might have to learn how to rebuild a master even if I don't have a kit to do it. It's probably hard to do without a kit. I didn't think to order one of those. Every time I've gone to the parts store, I bought at least 4 cans of these. I usually buy the case, but I keep telling myself not to restock this. That was dumb. I keep telling myself not to restock the shop before I leave. I mean, it'll always be there, but I don't know, does brake clean go bad? I've had a can not work before, but I don't know how long it sat before that happened. A lot of chunks in here. To me, it looked like somebody had tried to get these brakes working. They put some new stuff in them, but they didn't finish them. Truly, what the brakes likely needed was exactly what I'm doing, plus a new master. Maybe it didn't need a master at the time, but after I've been pumping on them, it definitely feels like it needs it now. You hear all that? That's corrosion built up. What I really need is new calipers. And some of you have given me some pretty good leads on where to find parts that fit a LUV, even if I can't find the actual Chevy LUV parts. So I appreciate all of those, and I will be looking up that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and clean all these tracks too. Let's just knock down as much debris as possible and give this thing a fighting chance to work again. If you can't just go buy a part and be a parts replacer, sometimes you got to try to refurbish it yourself. And if you can't even get the right parts to do that, sometimes you got to do your best with what you got. Thankfully, the rebuild kit showed up. I don't think I would have attempted this without having a backup. Notice I didn't pull them both. If I screw up the first kit, I could still try to assemble it with the second kit. Let's clean out that bleeder hole while we're here. I see a bunch of debris there. Try to keep that out of my eye. By the way, if you're a paint your calipers kind of guy, this would be the time. And I usually do like to do it for some applications, but we ain't got time for that. I just heard DoorDash. And there it is. Got what I needed. Now we can shoot our intro. But you know what? Let's just get this back together first. We can get our seal back in the groove there. Take it little piece by piece here. Come on. Come on. I know you're going in there because that's where you're supposed to go. There. Alright, and make sure it's smooth all the way around. Trying to push this piston back into place. It's not perfectly smooth, so it's a little challenging, but I got her as smooth as I could and I lubed it up. We're getting there. Now I may be doing this wrong because I put the piston in already, and then I'm trying to get this outer seal back in, and this seems like it's going to be a challenge. Just like that inner seal didn't really want to go in, this outer seal doesn't really want to go in. Part of me thinks that maybe I should have put the seal in and then the piston, but then I don't think it would have went in like that. And that's because I put it in backwards. Apparently you can put the piston in backwards. Guys, when I say I've never done this before, I also didn't look up a way to do it. I just talked to Dalton for a little bit and felt like I had the confidence to do it, even if I really have no idea what I'm doing. But the piston was in backwards, so hey, it can happen to anybody. Probably doesn't, but it could happen to anybody. You know, you guys have said the point of my channel is not that I always know what I'm doing or that I'm even successful at all. It's that even with not knowing what I'm doing, I don't give up. And I guess you're not wrong. I don't give up. I really want to. I was ready to last night, but I convinced myself that I could get there. That worked so much easier. I should have done that the first time. If you put it in the right way, it goes in pretty smoothly. God, I'm an idiot. No complaints here. Went right back in like it should. And that makes so much more sense as to how this is going to go in there. Oh yeah, it's dropping right in now. Such an idiot. Sorry if you can't see all of it, but I am kind of trying to hurry a little bit. I do have some other things I got to get done today. That's not this. Alright, now with that seated, this little ring is going to go inside that groove and hold the whole thing together. Oh yeah, you're going to be one of those. I see. Let's see if we can get you started. And just work you around. I don't want to pinch it, and I don't want to tear it. But I also don't want to do it twice, so. Almost there. Ah! Great success. Make sure it's down in that groove. And no, I don't know that from experience. I'm just looking at it going, it really needs to be down in there for this to work. There we go. All right, let's hope that works. Let's reattach this. I believe it went something like that. Yeah, looks similar. And then I have these two fellers over here. One in. All right, guys, I'm feeling a lot more confident. I'm sorry I'm not the perfect do-it-yourself channel. And I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of guys out there with expertise on these vehicles. And other than like one forum, there's not a lot of information posted. And those one forums you really have to dig through. And I just don't have time for that right now. And secondly, they don't always post pictures. So this is not a how to rebuild your Chevy LUV caliper video, but I've not found one yet that shows me how to do it. All right, I'm really happy with how this turned out. See if we can't get our pads back in here now. All right, we got, come on, there we go. I like that. Get seated there, buddy. Well, the pads are seated. I've got lube where I need it and none where I don't. Okay, we're back where we started. Are you kidding me? Well, I think I found our problem. Why did it take me 3 days to figure this out? Heck, why did it take you guys 3 days? Well, technically 2. You haven't seen this video yet. But I never said I was smart. I never said I was a good mechanic. Never said I was a mechanic at all. You know, in the medical field, they tell you when you're stumped and you're chasing a problem and everything's escalating and you're trying to figure it out, take a deep breath and go back to the basic. Well, for people, that's, you know, are they breathing? Do they have a heartbeat? What's their blood pressure? Kind of stuff. And apparently for wheels, it's are they hitting the caliper? One of you already called this. Martin sent me a message literally right before I was about to put the wheel back on. So thanks, Martin. I truly thought he couldn't be right because I thought it rolled. But now that I think about it, it never really rolled. Dang it. Well, all right then. We could either try to find some wheel spacers on Christmas, or I can go back to those Chevy rims and see if they'll give us more clearance. If it's that easy, Christmas may be saved. What did we learn today? Well, I learned how to rebuild a caliper. Never done that before. So thank you, Dalton, Pole Barn Garage, for kind of walking me through the steps there. I feel a lot more confident about having to do that in the future. I also learned that you don't have to overcomplicate things. Sometimes it really is the simplest solution. You know what I already see? Well, besides that this tire is going to rub, that's why I changed it to begin with, but that's the new pads against the rotor, but nothing else is touching. Look at that thing spin. I really do feel like an idiot, but Christmas is saved. Let's get this other tire changed and get the heck out of here. Yeah. Seems so obvious now. Mark, mark, mark. These are way, way too big. When I come back from New Mexico, I will try to find some better sized wheels and tires that will clear the brakes, that also match the truck all the way around, give me the look I want while also not rubbing anywhere. I mean, anywhere. My goodness. This is where if I did one video a week, I'd be really tempted to edit this out. Because I feel like such an idiot. But since we're here for the 12 days of Buffmas, we don't have that option. Well, I need the video, and quite frankly, I owe it to you guys to figure out what was really wrong and not some rabbit trail chase that ended up being nothing. Kind of was nothing. I'm pretty sure that master is still bad, but it did work a little bit. So I'm going to get that brake over there bled, and then we're off. I'm too excited. I'm just going to go take it for a rip, and then we'll come back to see if we can fit the hood on. Brakes still aren't 100%. I'm going to try to re-bleed the brakes, but I'm pretty sure our master's gone. Alright, I can confirm that both lines to the rear brakes are rusted and shooting fluid everywhere. Fronts are holding fluid. You know, I didn't rebuild that passenger side, but I will when I come back from New Mexico. But this one seemed to be working, but with the idle high, it was kind of making me nervous. So I'm going to try to rebleed them. Well, air came out of both of them, so let's see if that improved anything. No, that improved nothing. So I am truly convinced at this point that the master cylinder is really bad. I know I don't have a kit for it. Pulling it apart is a crapshoot at best to decide if I could even figure out how to fix it and repair it. And then, do I have the parts to do so? I mean, not a lot is open and nothing's shipping. So don't feel bad for me. I learned a lot in the last 12 days. The first thing I learned was do not ever forget the basics. I'm really humbled by the fact that I overlooked something so simple. I think back, and Fred, the little Datsun truck, had drums on it. It doesn't now, but it had them up at the time, and I think that's what I forgot. That's why those steel wheels would fit on the Datsun and they won't fit on this one. So here's the deal. I could continue working on this for the next, well, rest of the day, but I'm running out of time. I've got to make some special deliveries today, and that's not going to happen if I spend the entire day trying to rebuild the Master, only to find out that I either don't know what I'm doing or I don't have the parts to do it right. I know I have a new one coming. It'll be here next week. And I have the proper brake hoses. I'm going to make all new brake lines front to back for this thing. I'm going to rebuild that other caliper. I've got wheel cylinders, brake shoes, hardware, everything I need for the back to have proper brakes back there. And then I'm going to be on the hunt for some wheels. I'm still looking for a windshield. And I've got an entire interior to do on this truck. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there for the 12 days of Buffmas. I definitely think I could have gotten farther if I wasn't doing a daily video, but I enjoyed them, and I hope you did too. You guys sold out all of my merch 3 times. I don't know what to say about that. 3 times. And for those of you that haven't got your order yet, don't worry. I'm getting right on that as soon as I make the first deliveries. So thank you guys for doing that, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate you. So, how about we not end the video there? Let's see if we can fit this hood back on. I think this is where I need to phone. I think this is where I need to phone a friend. I've never done this before. I'm gonna end up crushing my new grill. For sure. There we go. Well, that hood is crunchy. Really, 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 really needs a new hood. Much left of that hood. It's dented and rusted and just falling apart. Oh, it's in bad shape. I guess I'm looking for a hood too. I don't think we're saving this one. Wow, that's really been bucket hard. I'm going to be able to search for a new hood. This one's just fallen apart. Well, with the little LUV truck not quite ready to make our deliveries, we're at a standstill. I owe you guys those gifts that I promised you in every order with your merch, and I'm not going to be able to do that unless I can find a vehicle that can get me there. Who can be a hero this Christmas? Falkenstein! That's right, good old Falkenstein's still here. I actually just fired him up and took him for a drive yesterday in this beautiful weather. I think he's the perfect vehicle to make our deliveries. Thanks for coming in and clutch there, Falkenstein. I know so many of you wanted to see that little LUV do its job, but we've got plenty of work left for it to do when we come back from New Mexico. So hang in there. We're gonna get back to this one. And this little guy's still over here. He fired right up. But I think Falkenstein's got this one. It's 75 degrees right now, and it's Christmas. So I got some work to do. You guys got some merch to receive and some special gifts. But thanks for hanging in there for the 12 days of Buffmas. I cannot tell you enough how much I've appreciated you guys. Thanks for giving me a day off of having a white beard. That was something else, wasn't it? But thanks for watching Buff's Garage. Thanks for all the merch orders, all the online support, all the messages, all the comments, good and bad. I needed them all. And to Martin, thanks for reaching out and telling me, hey, why don't you check the wheels, dummy? Actually, he was really nice about it, but that's how I feel about it. As you know, I'm still learning and, I'm gonna make mistakes, and having you guys watching out for me truly helps. During this series, I've learned a lot about mechanic work. I've learned a lot about editing, timelines, and truly your generosity. So from me to you, have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and this time, I'm gonna see you next week. Once again, guys, I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Enjoy this time with your families and friends, and I want to thank you for supporting me and my channel. You guys are the best, like just the best. Awesome, awesome people. I couldn't be more blessed. I mean, just look at this. I got a new shop door. I got a Fred. I got a Chevy LUV, and I got a Falkenstein. And there's so many more behind the shop and more to go pick up. And I couldn't have done any of it without you guys. So stay tuned, I got more coming, and we're headed to New Mexico, where 5 YouTubers are gonna try to get cars out of junkyards and get them home. So that should be fun. And I can also shave the beard. All right, see you guys next week. Rock side to side. Rock side to side.